Oh, we're live. We're live.
Hey, y'all, this is Black History Month. And so we're going to start with a tiny bit of history and relate it to the nonsense going on today. On this day, February 12th, 1946, a Black World War II veteran named Isaac Woodard was honorably discharged from the United States Army. Hours later, still in uniform, he was so brutally beaten by a South Carolina police chief that he was left blind permanently.
An American soldier, y'all, in uniform, came back to America from the battlefield whole and healthy. But before making it home, he ended up blind. And the officer who did it, acquitted in an all-white jury in less than 20 minutes. This was not 1846, y'all. This was 1946, post-World War II America. Let that land, okay? So when we talk about leaving America, we're not speaking from emotion. We are speaking from pattern recognition. We retired at 57 and 66 years old without a pension. We have lived in Lisbon for over 4 years, y'all. That was fast, wasn't it? Oh, by the way, subscribe. We're still trying to get to 100,000 before our 4-year anniversary,
Yes,
y'all.
we are.
All right. We have traveled to 30 cities on 5 continents. We've built income streams, savings. We built legal residency. We built community. We did not escape. We executed a strategy.
Yes, we did.
Right? So we're going to talk about that and a lot more. But first, we're going to introduce ourselves. Okay. I'm not sure why my other computer is talking, so I apologize for that. Hey, y'all. My name's Halisi.
And I'm Rick. Welcome to our Black Utopia.
On our channel, we talk about money, travel, and life abroad. We help folks who look like us, who are getting close to retirement. Well, we passed retirement age, y'all, but who are getting close to retirement age and forgot to plan. We help you get your money straight so that you can retire on time or maybe even abroad.
And early ain't bad either.
Early is not bad. All right, sweetheart. So what are we talking about
today? We're going to give a warning to Black Americans if you're moving abroad and talk about, what they didn't tell you. Okay. So today we are continuing a conversation around a video by Jasmine Giselle, and I hope I'm saying the name right. It's titled A Warning to Americans Moving Abroad. Today, we're talking about expat tax. We're talking about what doesn't show up in those videos by influencers living in Dubai or Bangkok.
That's right. That's right. Oh, we put a link to Giselle's video in the description below, y'all. All right. So first, if you're new to our channel, then you might not know. Back in 2018, Rick and I got a wake-up call, y'all. We were getting close to retirement age, and we looked at our money, and it looked
crazy.
But we got our financial act together, and we went from negative 22,000 to over 1.1 million in net worth. And y'all, if we can do that,
y'all can do it too.
Y'all can do it too. Y'all can do it too. All right, here's the deal. Type this in the chat. This is what we want to know. Are you A, exploring, B, seriously planning, C, 1 to 2 years out, D, ready to leave in 6 months, or E, already gone? Let us know in the chat. And if you're watching from the future, hey, I hope the future is better than today. I really do. Let us know in the comments what you think. All right. And also, what is your biggest fear? Money? Legal status? Loneliness? Or healthcare? Because we are addressing all of that. We are addressing all of that because this is not a new conversation.
No, it's not.
Isaac Woodard served his country, and loyalty did not protect him. For generations, Black Americans have been told, work hard, serve, be patriotic, assimilate, and you will be safe, right? The model minority, right? Black excellence. Do all of this and you will be safe. But the data does not support that claim. Not at all. So this is not about fear. This is about historical literacy. You all know that our icon for members is the Sankofa bird. Why? Because y'all know the meaning of the Sankofa bird, right? We have to look back at history in order to prepare for our future. All right. So this is about historical literacy. And when you understand patterns, you plan accordingly.
Mhm.
Number 2,
Banking. Freedom requires access. You cannot relocate and not have access to your money.
that's right.
You need a major U.S. bank and a U.S. address because there's a lot of banks out there and even brokerage you have to be careful of and look them up, because if they know that you are no longer living in the United States, they will close your account, cut you a check, and send it to the last place of residence.
That's right.
So you want to be very, very careful of that.
That's right.
You need a U.S. address. You need a backup fintech account like Revolut or Wise.
Used to be TransferWise.
Used to be TransferWise. You need a credit card with no foreign fees, because if you don't, those fees start.
They start adding up, right? They start adding up. And look, especially when the dollar is going down in value, every single penny counts. Every single penny counts. All
Yeah.
right.
You need a local bank. And some countries will only allow this if you have residencies.
So when he says local bank, he means local bank in another country, or the country that you're going to. All right. All right.
You need a great number of countries like Portugal do not require residency.
Yeah. And we did a video on that, right? And we listed some of the places that you can open bank accounts without having residency. Mm-hmm. I want to say that was about 3 Thursdays or 4 Thursdays ago, about a month ago. All right. So look for that.
And you must understand ATM limits, currency conversion, transfer timing. Get them transfer timings right, because they can be brutal. And fraud flags.
What do we mean by transfer timing? What we mean is that dollar, which y'all's melon felon president, keeps going down, 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 down. So for instance, when we first moved here, we could get what? It was basically dollar for dollar, but it was a dollar for dollar, but it was just a touch above on the positive side for the dollar, right? So 98 cents would get you €1. It was like that. And then it got to be about 98 cents, 98 euros, 98 cents in euros would get you about 95 cents in American dollars. Now, it's 15% lower. It's like 85 cents to the euro, where it was basically one-to-one. In 2 years, it's 85 cents to the euro. It has gotten down in the past. History can teach us, y'all. It has gotten down in the past to 64 to 65 cents to the euro. That means if you were to move to Portugal, you would lose 40% of your money. If you transferred it all, of course, right? So what we do is that we look for when the dollar is at its strongest in a while, and we move huge chunks of money to try, one, to eliminate all the fees. If you're transferred dribs and drabs, you're going to get them wire fees every single time. Right. It does not make sense. It does not make sense, right? So we at least a quarter's worth of money, 4 months worth of money at a time. Usually we try to do a whole year. Okay. I know that is a luxury that not everybody has. So that's one thing. The other thing that you need to think about is it could be happening in the reverse way, right? And you want to take advantage of that as well. When the going is good and you're paying your bills in that other currency,
right?
Transfer that money so then you don't feel the ups and downs with your rent. If you're transferring 1 month at a time or 2 months at a time, then 1 month your rent could be $900. The next time it could be $1,100, even though it's staying the same in the local currency. You see what I'm saying? That's what we're talking about with transfer timing.
Yeah.
All right, sweetheart.
So transfer timing, got to make sure of that. Fraud flags, if your card gets locked or your accounts get frozen, you cannot access your funds. You are not free.
Right? You are not free.
You are not free.
So that's why you have to have your money in not a lot of different locations, but at least 2 to 3 to 4 different places. The world is a changing, y'all. Here's our warning. Here is our warning. All right. Because especially for us, because I can't keep my mouth shut. So if the melon felon ever wants to have retribution, all he's got to do is do some AI searches and just start dinging people, right?
Yeah.
So the other thing that we did not mention is you want to freeze your credit.
Definitely.
Go on to all 3 of those what are they called?
The
credit bureaus,
bureaus,
right? The TransUnion, Experian, etc., Equifax, right? And you can freeze them. It is free. You can change it within 30 seconds for a situation and then freeze it right back. Okay. The last thing you want to do is be living your best life in Bangkok, be living your best life in Mexico, be living your best life in Medellin, wherever you're going, Panama, right? Wherever you're going. And the next thing you know, somebody, because that there's always going to be a bad guy, is in the United States opening up crap in your name. And the warnings, right? And the warnings are going to your old address.
Yeah. So you don't know anything about it until you try to do something.
Right. So see our video, Black Americans are protecting their money this way. Okay. That's another short video that we did. All right. Number 3, savings. And this is where people fail. Wait, I thought we talked about this.
Nope, not yet.
Oh, we rehearsed it. That's what we did.
Yes.
We rehearsed it. Y'all, stop moving with $1,000. All right, we ain't kids, right? We are not kids. You need 6 to 12 month expenses or guaranteed income, and hopefully both. All right. There are always going to be unexpected costs, and we're going to talk about that in a minute, right? And so playing it too close to the edge will sometimes get you asking about some food banks and stuff. And believe me when I tell you, we have heard of folks who had the audacity to leave the United States and then come to another country, and a month or 2 later, they ask them about some food banks and some Section 8 housing.
Yeah, for real.
For real, though. For real, though, because even though a lot of the places that we mentioned have a lower cost of living, the rents sometimes do not reflect the cost for everything else. And that is definitely true here in Portugal. And it's true in a couple of other countries that we visited as well, right? The rent is high here in Lisbon, not as high in the outskirts, but in Lisbon, it is high. But everything else is so affordable. The food, the transportation, entertainment, restaurants, all of the normal things that you like to do, getting your hair cut, right? I used to have to pay $65 to get my hair shaved in the United States. Here, I pay €11, and then I throw in a tip. Okay? At the barber shop. Where? At the barber shop. Right? So look, you need both. And if you're retired, you need to account for the exchange rate fluctuation that we just talked about, right? You need to prepare for private health care. Even though healthcare will not necessarily bankrupt you outside of the United States per se, you still need to plan. And I'm just going to be honest. Here in Portugal, we have to maintain private health insurance. That is part of our visa, right? And that's part of basically every visa, maybe not the student visa, but all the rest of them, for the most part, you have to have private health care insurance. You cannot move here and then we have access to the public health care system, but they require all immigrants to maintain private health care insurance so that we are not putting too much of a burden on their public system. And even with that, you almost could pay out of pocket, y'all. You really could. because Rick's half body MRI that he got last week was without insurance was 150 euro. Is that what it said?
Without insurance, it was I think, 200 euros.
200 euro MRI, which is usually thousands, right? That's what we're saying. Even without insurance, prescriptions were never more than like 20 bucks, 30 bucks, 30 euros or so, right? So some places do not require residents to have private healthcare insurance. And so in those cases, when you find out you might have to pay up front and stuff like that, that they've got affordable healthcare, you might want to just get tragic care for the big serious things, not just for the flu and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying. All right. You also have to take into account visa renewals. Visa renewals are not free. And you have no idea what they will be when it's time for you to renew, because it cost about 200 euros more than I thought it was going to cost for us to renew our visas here in Portugal. But again, we had prepared for that. All right. And of course, you've got to prepare for emergency flights back to the States. Y'all know I lost 2 people very close to us in last year, and I had to fly back twice. It was planned for, but it wasn't planned for. I did not expect either of those individuals to pass away. I expected both of them to still be here. Last time I saw them, they were fine, and they should have been here. All right. So you've got to have a little pot of money put to the side for these kinds of emergencies. The last thing you want to do is to have your daddy dying and you cannot get back to see him, or have your mommy dying, or have your auntie dying, right? And you cannot get back to see them. It's one thing to miss a baby shower. It's another thing to miss end of life, right? And we just want to thank the new member, Jake Well. Welcome to the Utopian family.
Yes, welcome, Jake.
All right. TikTok rent is not a financial plan. I'm a go and I'm gonna start me a YouTube channel is not a financial plan. We know people who have done that and they're back in the United States because they ran out of money. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So then number 4, you got the expat tax.
This is what we were talking about earlier. Y'all.
Yes. When you open your mouth, your accent signals dollars.
Cha-ching.
Yep. Sometimes you'll be charged more. And the strategy is learn basic language, just basic language. I can do a little bit to understand different things, and ask the locals prices. Avoid tourist zones, get in a community, or build local friendships fast. Build it with the locals.
Yeah. And here's the thing, folks. So if you cannot speak the language yet, you've got to have when we move, it is a so much softer landing if you get into community. Okay. Locals will tell you where to get the things at an affordable price. Expats that have been there for a long time could also tell you, but sometimes they be a little bougie and they don't be going into the right places. I know somebody who's here longer than me, and I had to tell her about some of the discount stores here in Lisbon. I was like, you should have known that. She's like, oh, I didn't know those existed. Okay. So get into community. The locals can tell you about the fruitarias and the butchers and the this and the that, right? We're talking about an ecosystem in most other countries that is a lot more dispersed and less centralized into 5 or 6 big corporations that own everything, like in the United States, right? You can't shop for discounts at mom and pops by and large in the United States. So
definitely build your local friendships.
Exactly.
Knowledge reduces the tax.
It reduces the expat tax. But we're gonna be honest. Look, there is no way to avoid a bit of the expat tax.
No.
The first year that you leave the country is going to be more expensive. I remember when we got this apartment, and I told our immigration specialist what we were paying for rent. She's like, it'll be cheaper next year. And it was. We negotiated it down. All right, it was. So these are the things that are possible, but you don't know that if you're not in community. If you try to do this thing all alone, if you take the United States mentality of rugged individualism, you're going to end up paying the price. All right. Number 5, political climate matters. We have been talking about this for almost 2 years now. Do not move from rising authoritarianism into rising authoritarianism, right? We're not moving to Turkey. We're not moving to Hungary, right? We're certainly not moving to no Venezuela. And we got to be careful about a few more places. Mm-hmm. All right. So you want to research their immigration policy. You want to research their nationalist movements. We just had a strong victory, thank God, here in Portugal. Portuguese people did the right thing.
For the Presidente.
They did the right thing on Sunday. Yes, their voting day is on a Sunday. The United States could learn something about that as well. All right. There was a reason why it was on Tuesday, and it no longer makes sense if you know your history. So here on Sunday, we got a president that is even more left than the president who is termed out. Okay. So very happy about that. The MAGA movement, called Chega here, only got less than 30% of the vote, about 30% of the vote, something like that. And he got 70%.
He got 73%.
73% last time I checked. I don't know. They were still counting about 5% of the ballots, but he was at 73%. He whooped his behind. And I thank MAGA for that. I thank ICE for that. I thank all of the nonsense that is going on in the United States. It has been a cautionary tale for every other country. Because if you think it can't happen here, sit back and watch, all right? So you want to research immigration policy, nationalist movements, housing protests, which have been happening a lot of places. They're happening here in Lisbon, right? And yes, Chega's trying to blame the immigrants when he really should be blaming the government, because it's always the government, right? You want to research visa changes, tax treaties. Tax treaties are very important. Does the United States have a tax treaty with that country? Because if it doesn't, you are going to be double taxed. You could be double taxed. We're not tax accountants, all right? So talk to your own tax person about that. But you could be double taxed. You are not immune because you have a passport, okay? You are not immune just because you have a passport. Number 6.
Community loss is real. Okay. You will lose proximity, friends.
To friends, yep.
You know, some family will not visit. Some people will resent you. Build new community intentionally with expats who will have to go through the same immigration hurdles and locals who can explain how things work.
That's right. That's right.
So number 7 is U.S. taxes follow you. Mm-hmm. They follow you.
That's right.
You may not have to pay them.
This is only for United States citizens. I don't know how it works for Canada. I do not know how it works for the UK. I do not know how it works for Australia. But in the U.S., they be taxing a sister and brother.
Oh, yeah.
All right. All right. So, yeah, you need to file worldwide, and you are taxed on worldwide income. They do not care.
Yeah. You must understand foreign earned income exclusion, foreign tax credits, reporting requirements. This is not optional. See our video entitled expat taxes.
That's right. We did a video on this with the guru in expat taxes. Her name is Katrina, and we did that video a couple of years ago. The rules still apply. Okay, the rules still apply. Ain't nothing changed since we did that video. Otherwise, we do a new one. All right, number 8, healthcare. We promised we would talk about this. The real conversation most countries have: lower out of pocket costs, and that is the deal, right? But you may need private insurance, as we just said, and you may need to pay up front, as we have said. You must understand, healthcare systems work vastly different country to country. That is not an indictment on quality.
No.
It is just a different way of doing things. The way America does things is shitty. Okay? It is. It's shitty. Here in Portugal, You get a bill before you have any kind of procedure that tells you to the penny how much you will pay. So you could conceivably really shop around for a better price because you know exactly how much you will pay without insurance and then how much your insurance says they will pay if they covered you. You will know in advance. How many times have you gone to the doctor in the United States to get something beyond the normal and they can never give you the total exact price? And then you start getting all these bills from everywhere. All right. So you need to understand what is covered.
Right.
All right. Because see, here in Portugal, a lot of times meds or prescriptions are not covered. Why? Because they're under the national system. And so the taxpayers, and we are taxpayers, we are taxpayers, have already subsidized the cost of the meds. So you just have to show up with your national health number, right, which you get when you gain residency, and you get that discount. But even before we got the number, because it was about a 4-month, 5-month delay, they were still so affordable.
Yeah.
So affordable. They were like the prices that we paid in the United States with insurance, some of ours. All right. So understand what is covered, understand wait times. I know because of Obamacare, we'll see how long that lasts. They cannot discriminate for pre-existing. That is not a worldwide thing. That is an American thing. Thank you, President Obama. Okay. So understand what those are. Certain, it is not a country thing. It is an insurance company thing, unless there are laws on the books, right? Language access. Understand healthcare is a planning issue, right? Like here in Portugal, we work with a medical concierge service that looks for doctors who can speak English as well.
Yes. They might not speak perfect English now.
I don't care. Can you understand the words coming out of my mouth? All right. That's all I care about. And I don't care if it's broken, grammar's bad, or any of that stuff, as long as they're explaining what I need to know. You've got to plan. This is not an issue to gamble with. All right. Now we're going to go to a fun thing. Number 9, dating and demographics. All right. If you are single at 52, 62, or whatever, and you talking about moving abroad and you are single, you need to know what is the culture, right? What are the stats for single folks within your desired age group? And when I say what is the culture, what we mean by that is, for instance, in Mexico, 2 things. 1, it's a very Catholic country. 2, abortion is against the law unless it's about the health of the mother and not the nonsense they doing in the United States. True health of the mother. True health of the mother, not letting people bleed out in the parking lot. Which means there are a lot less divorces in Mexico per capita than you expect in a modern, well-developed country. Less single people, less divorces, less older single people, right? Now, if you're younger, before marriage age or, around that's a different story. So what is the culture? What are the stats for single folks within your desired age group? For that reason, right? Are you willing to learn their language, or must they speak English, right? Here in Portugal, English is widely spoken because there are not a lot of countries that speak European Portuguese. And so they have grown up watching American movies that are not dubbed. They are in English with subtitles. And so a lot of people speak a bit of English here in Portugal. If you are LGBTQ+, is the country legally safe for you, right? And then if you want children or grandchildren to join you at some point, what does the schooling look like? These are all of the things that you need to look at, because relocation can affect your entire life arc. Number 10 is a fun one as well.
Vacation is not relocation. Vacation is not relocation.
And relocation is not a vacation, y'all.
No.
All right.
We recommend when you come for
do a scouting trip or whatever.
Do a scouting trip, a minimum of 30 days.
Seriously. Seriously, folks.
Ideally, 60 to 90 days.
This little 2-week vacation thing from the United States, you're going to have to take your personal days, your sick days, or whatever have you, y'all. You are uprooting your life from the country of your birth and going someplace else. Now, just because you don't like it doesn't mean you can't move. I know somebody who moved here about a year and a half ago. She already gone.
Yeah.
I think she regrets it.
Couple people.
Yeah, I think
couple people.
And I know one regrets it. All right. So, and is moving back. But if you spend 30 days, ideally 60 to 90 days.
Yeah. Oh, and try to be there during the worst weather.
Like what we having right now.
Yeah. If you could be there in the wintertime when it's raining, if you're going to London, be in London during the wintertime.
See if you can
you want to be in Portugal, visit and be here during the wintertime.
Unless heat is your thing. Then come during the heat. If you don't like a lot of heat, come during the summertime and see how hot it gets. See if you can handle it. Whatever the weather is that you do not prefer, check out your place during that time.
Because the air and the heat.
Yeah, I mean, Thailand in the burning season, right? All of these things. All right. So what are they supposed to do?
You got to live like a resident. Grocery shop, pay your rent, use public transportation, open a bank account, visit a doctor. That will tell you everything.
That's right. That's right. So circling back, Isaac Woodward served bravely. He was patriotic and he was blinded. Even though he did all of the things, right? He assimilated. He was patriotic. He served with honor, right? And was blinded anyway by so-called peacekeepers. Black Americans have always had to read the room before the room read us, right? Leaving is not an escape.
No.
It's a strategy. And a strategy requires money, legality, community, historical memory. So if you're serious about building an exit plan, not a panic plan, join us in the Financial Freedom Lab via Beyond the Bling. That is our financial freedom program for late bloomers like ourselves. We're also having a meetup here in Portugal, not just for people who are interested in moving to Portugal. A lot of people who come are just interested in moving abroad, and the people that you will meet some locals from Portugal as well, but also you will meet other people on this journey. Our meetup is during Juneteenth week. The tickets will go on sale before the end of this month. And it spans from, it's the 15th, the formal part is the 15th and the 16th. And we have all of these other activities planned for at least 7 days around the 15th and the 16th, all the way to Juneteenth.
Yep.
And then after that, we go into Ghana with Exodus Summit. You might want to join us if you're a Black woman, or if you've got a Black woman in with you. You can join us in Ghana after that. All right. If you need help making a plan, we offer one-on-one coaching, right? Information for that is in the description below. And with that, we will see y'all on Sunday. Love y'all.
We didn't tell them to become a member.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Hey, become a legend, become a member, utopian.
Yeah. You can really support us that way. Our anniversary's in March. It's at the end of March, y'all, our 4-year anniversary. And we really wanted to get to 100,000 subscribers before then. I don't know. It might be an ego thing. I want that plaque. But I also want this information to be served to more of our community, because we're always the last to figure things out, because we're not in the rooms when a lot of these decisions and conversations are being made. Purposely, intentionally, we're being left out. And this is information that needs to be shared with our community. So please share it.
Yes, please.
All right. Members, we hang out with you for an hour before we go live every Sunday. Legends can come on with us on air every other Thursday. So not this Thursday, but next Thursday is Legend Thursday. So if you're a legend, plan for it. All right. And come join us on air and let's chitty chat. And with that, we'll let you go. See you on Sunday. Bye, y'all.